Hey everybody. Okay, so you've decided you want to go backpacking. So where do you start? Start with backpack, okay? There's a couple of different kinds. You can get day packs if you're just going to go out on short hikes during the day, just to throw some snacks and some water in, make it easier for you. And then you get into the multi-day hike backpacks. So you can get big bulky ones, you can get that are quite a bit heavier, you can get super light ones or ultra light like they're called. It's really what your comfort level is and how long your trips are going to be. When I first started, I had an Osprey Aura, and it was a 4-pound pack. Recently I upgraded to the Z-Packs Arc Air. So the Z-Packs is only 21 ounces as opposed to the 4 pounds that the pack empty was. So that saved quite a bit of weight. A great thing that I like about this pack is have a water bottle holder. So you just stick your water bottle right down in here. Very accessible whenever you want to take a drink. Saw a lot of hikers on a lot of the blogs and vlogs that I watch that utilize these. I thought it was awesome. Didn't even know they had them. So I ordered one for me, one for Billy, and they were awesome. We used them for the first time at Cloudland. Something else that I saw on several other vloggers to keep things handy was, this is from Gossamer Gear. So it is just simply a cell phone holder. Stick your cell phone down in there. If you're going into some areas that it might, rain or fall out, it has a zipper that you can just zip up. Has a little pouch right here that you can stick. Like if you wear sunglasses and it gets darker in the woods or whatever, you can stick your sunglasses down in here. I guess if you really wanted to, you could stick a snack in there. So anyway, that's this. The thing about the Arc Air that I like too is everything is kind of interchangeable. So I could take off this hip belt if I wanted something different. I'm not quite sure if I love the hip belt yet or not. What I did like on my Osprey was that I had actual hip pockets. I think I can buy some things that I attached that almost gives it like the pocket that I would keep like little things in, like my my chapstick and things like that, for easy accessibility. So that's the great thing about some of these packs, is they're interchangeable, and they're where you can change them out if I wanted to give this to somebody else and they wanted, if they were smaller around the waist than I am, they could actually get a smaller hip belt and not have to buy an entire new pack. So it's really what you like and what you're comfortable with. This is I think I got a 60 liter. So it's very roomy on the inside. There's a lot of room to put all your stuff in here. The great thing about these backpacks is, you can kind of open it up, put all your stuff down in here, and just kind of go from there. How you pack your pack is really important too. We'll get into that on a different video. I just kind of wanted to show you what some of my gear was and show you some of what Billy's gear is. So this is mine. This is the Z-Packs Arc Air. Billy uses the Gregory Stout 65. So one of the main differences, besides the weight, this is a 4-pound pack. So empty, it's 4 pounds. His also has a brain. And if you talk to seasoned through hikers, a lot of seasoned through hikers don't like to use it. It's just extra weight for them. But something that Billy really likes is he can put a lot of his stuff in here that he needs easy accessibility to. He can put, like toiletries, toilet paper, all that kind of stuff. Or he can put just like his snacks and stuff like that. So he does have his Gossamer Gear phone pouch, just like I do. We have not received his water bottle holder, so hopefully we'll receive that before we take off on our next trip, which we won't tell you where we're going yet, but it will be coming out soon. And then he has the great hip pockets. So these, you can stick all kinds of goodies in. This is what I miss about my Osprey, is, you just have these great pockets here that you can put all kinds of stuff in. And here's a little ferro rod, apparently, that we didn't take out of his pack after our last trip. So both of the backpacks have where you can stick your water bottle here, so that if you don't have the one that sits here, you can just reach back and pull out your water and stick it back in. So again, the Gregory pack is a really good pack. He's really enjoyed using this. He's used this on 2 different hikes so far, so it has been pretty good for him. I'm very comfortable. He's still learning how to play with it, still learning how to pack it. It's not something that when you decide, hey, I think I want to go out and do some backpacking and I'm going to watch a few videos, it's not something that you wake up magically the next morning and go, ta-da, I now know how to pack my pack. You don't. You play with it constantly. You have to learn how you like it to sit on your back. You know, you're supposed to have the weight sitting on your hips so that it takes all the pressure off of your shoulders. Well, just because you put it on and tighten that belt down doesn't mean that it sits right. You have to play with it. You have to actually pack the pack correctly, or else the weight is not distributed properly. So that's something to keep in mind. And the great thing about the packs is they come in all price ranges. Okay, so you can get a decent backpack. It's going to be a little bit heavier, but if it gets you outside, it gets you started. That's what you need to do. You need something to get you started. Don't go for a top of the line, ultra light, first time out of the box. If you don't like it, why did you want to spend $400 on a backpack, right? So go and get something that fits you properly, even if it's a little bit heavier, just to see if it's something you really like. So you can go anywhere from about $80 or $90 in a backpack, upwards of, like I said, $400 or $500 for backpacks, depending on really what type of pack it is. You can go internal frame, which that's just all the framing is on the inside and it's structured. You can go with an external frame, which you don't really see too much anymore, but that's where you actually had the bars and the metal on the outside and the pack kind of fit inside it. And there was other room that you could put like your sleeping pad and stuff attached to those bars. And then you can even go with frameless completely. So it's like a sack on your back. And a lot of people are starting to get into that. I haven't heard a ton of reviews on those, but I guess if you're ultralight anyway and everything is kind of fit in there right, it would probably be a good option for you. Now that you've got your backpack, let's talk about some of the other stuff that you're going to need. So once you get into your pack, you're going to see a video. I'm going to add it into this on how I set my tent up. So you need to pick a tent. Do you need a 1-person, 2-person, whatever? A 1-person is going to be a fairly small tent. A lot of them will say, you know, you've got plenty of room to put yourself and your backpack. Well, you don't really always. It depends on how much room you really need. Your tent is a very personal thing. It sounds crazy, but that's what it is. So I have a Motrail, and it says it's a 2-person tent. I say nay. It is not a 2-person tent. I am not putting another person in that tent with me and their gear. I learned that in Cloudland. You heard the little thing there at the end. Billy and I are staying married. That's a great thing after 19 years, but we are not sleeping in the same tent anymore. It just can't happen. We're on top of each other half the night. He's a very hot sleeper, and I can't have somebody else that close to me in a tent like that. I have no room to move. So my Motrail, I am going to say, is a expanded 1-person tent. So without him in the tent with me, I'm going to have room for me in there. I can bring my bag in if I want to bring it in. I don't have to leave it in the vestibule. I am not a huge fan of creepy crawlers. I don't like spiders. I'm not a huge fan of bugs. I know it's crazy. I like to be in the woods, but I don't like the little critters. But I don't want to wake up one morning and stick my foot in my shoe and squish a bug. It's just one of those things. So if I can bring all my stuff inside, I would prefer that. And I will have the room in the tent for that now. So you'll see the tent set up here in just a little bit. But, you know, once you get your tent and you get in there, what else do you need? So you're going to need a sleeping bag. And they have great options on sleeping bags now. Again, sleeping bag is going to be very personal. Are you a hot sleeper? Are you a cold sleeper? What kind of camping are you going to do? Are you going to camp just in the summer months? If you're camping just in the summer months, you don't need something that goes down to 20 and 30 degrees, right? You're going to need something that's more comfortable at a warmer rating, because if you get something that's rated for 25 or 35 degrees and it's 70 degrees when you're sleeping, you are going to be miserably hot. So get something that will kind of do a wide range, depending on what you're going to camp in. Okay, so I would like to kind of try some colder weather camping, and I'm a very cold sleeper regardless. So I have the Nemo Forte 35-degree bag. I bought Billy, even though he is a hot sleeper, I did buy him a 35-degree bag too. It is a Nemo Forte, but it's the men's long version. I bought him that tent just because, number one, we're going to try some colder weather. He goes and does a lot more camping than what I'm able to do. So he does really cold camping. You know, he's hammocked in 20-degree weather. That's not something that I think I would be very comfortable with, but he does that. So if he needs something like this, it's going to be a lot more comfortable. So this is his Nemo Forte. Both of them are spoon-shaped bags. So a spoon-shaped bag is more or less a straight line with just a little bit of curve into it. You can get mummy bags, and mummy bags are just like that. You think about the old pictures and videos that you see and movies that you see of like King Tut and all that, and it goes kind of down into a point. If you don't move around a lot at night, I'm sure that's great. I used to have a Marmot mummy bag. It was a 20-degree bag. It was super warm. It was fairly comfortable, except for I could not move. I felt like somebody had taken and just wrapped my body in one little position, and I could not move around in that bag. So I did have that for a couple of years, and I made do, but it's not something that I want to make do with anymore. So I went to where I could be more comfortable and move my legs the way I need to. Now, something that I saw on a lot of the other vloggers is a lot of people, and I'm on a lot of Facebook sites too, because that's what you do when you're a couch warrior, is you read about what other people are doing and you watch what other people are doing. So for a long time, I was sitting there and I was watching all this and reading all this, and everybody started talking about sleeping bag liners. And I'm like, what is a sleeping bag liner? Well, basically what it is think of it almost like a sheet that is sewn on the ends. It's almost like a sheet sleeping bag, for lack of a better way to describe it. Is you get in there and it's just like a sheet, and you can just put your body down in it, and then you get down in your sleeping bag, and it actually adds warmth. It doesn't seem like something that's a sheet or sheet consistency, whatever, would add very much warmth to your bag, but it really does. And again, you can get different types of these. I really got Billy and I very inexpensive ones just to start off, because again, I'm not going to go spend a ton of money on something that I don't know if I really am going to continue to use. That could be the wrong thing to think about, but it really is my process in my mind. So I got us fairly cheap ones. And Billy absolutely loves it. I don't think he'll ever go camping without a sleeping bag liner again. My first experience with a sleeping bag liner was not great. It kind of bound up around my legs, and I couldn't get comfortable, and the more I moved, the more it kind of bound my legs up. And again, I'm going to rack that up to the way we were in the tent, and everything was so tight anyway. It just was not comfortable for me. So hopefully when I go solo in the Mo Trail, and have my setup kind of the way I want to, I can get down in there and be much more comfortable and a little bit warmer if necessary. And the great thing about these two is you could actually just get down in this and sleep on top of your sleeping bag if it was too warm to be in the sleeping bag at that time. Hey y'all, Steph here. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I'm going to do a little bit more learning on setting up my tent. I have a tarp tent Mo Trail. When we were on the Cloudland Canyon Park hike, was really the third time that I've set it up. I've set it up to do the seam sealing, because this comes to you and you have to seam seal it. So I've set it up to seam seal, but as far as like really staying in it overnight, that was really the first time that I had set it up. So there is definitely a learning curve. The Tarp Tent website has several videos showing you how to set it up, all that kind of good stuff, and they make it look so easy. So anybody who's ever tried to set up one of the lighter tents, well, heck, even a bigger tent will tell you it's never as easy as everybody makes it look. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna show you how to set this tent up while I learn. So hopefully it'll be a great video for you. My tent is not a freestanding tent. A freestanding tent basically has the poles, and you can pick it up and move it around after you have it set up. This is a tent that uses trekking poles to set it up. So I don't have any of the extra weight from the poles. So, you know, I use trekking poles anyway, so this is a good way for me just to eliminate just a little bit of weight. So here we go. They say the back one needs to be like 28 to 29 inches. So what I did was on my trekking pole, I marked where I need to set my pole. So this is my mark, so hopefully it'll make it a little bit easier. The good thing about all of this is you can adjust as you go. So I'm going to show you an attempt at setting up the tent, and let's see how that goes. Well, you know, my arms aren't quite long enough. I guess I have little T-Rex arms, because when unfortunately I didn't have the camera set good enough that you could see me up here at the front trying to hold the pole and stake the tent down at the same time. So definite learning curve there. Maybe I should buy my next tent based on the measurements of my arm. I don't know. But so anyway, you saw the tent fall on me. So it's not quite set up right. I can tell just by the way it sits that it's not quite right. I can see some pull points right here. It shouldn't sit quite like that, but for right now it will do. I've got to let it air out. I didn't let it air out when we got back from Cloudland, just simply because it was raining, and the next couple sunny days that we had, I've been at work. So I'm gonna let it sit out here for a little while, and as you can tell, I'm gonna have to learn quite a bit more to be able to actually get this thing set up in a timely little manner. So I'm gonna learn. This tent will not defeat me. Okay, so funny little blooper reel. So everybody saw me set up my tent at the beginning of this, or in the middle of this video, right? So it's now several hours later, and surprise, it started raining again in Alabama. And I walked out back, and I'm going to show you what I found when I walked out here, okay? So this is the hiker fail. So I'm leisurely walking out here, and I'm like, it's raining. So look, yeah, there's my tent. That's the tent. Sure am glad I'm not camping in this, because I'd be having some major issues right now. That's hilarious. So yeah, you know, you're gonna have wins and you're gonna have losses, and this I'm gonna chalk up to a loss. When it slows down on the rain, I'll go back up and I'll set the tent up again and we will go from there. Maybe I'll do a take 2 later,